Well, congratulations on becoming self-employed. The first thing that you'll need to do is to get hold of this form here, a CW F1 form. Now you can actually get this online, or try and get a copy from the tax office, and you must register with the revenues and customs within the 3-month period. Otherwise, there will be a penalty. The form itself is quite simple to complete, really, and I'll just go quickly down here. About you, your current home, your family name, and so on and so forth. All right, it's really simple to do. And as we get further down to page 2, this is about your business. Okay. Now, when do you start the business? And if you've got a telephone home number. If you're working from home, obviously, then you need to put your home address. And what sort of self-employed work do you do? Do you have a partner? Obviously, this one's got a cross here, but obviously, if you've got a business partner, then you need to insert the appropriate tick here. Let's go a bit further down, and yes, it's really simple to do, actually. Okay, so I really do not actually have to explain any further about this particular form. And if you read the guidance note here at the bottom as well, how to pay Class 2, obviously because you're self-employed now, you've got to pay Class 2 National Insurance contribution as well as Class 4. Okay, you were paying Class 1 National Insurance contribution when you were employed, but now you've got to pay Class 2, and obviously you have to pay Class 4 as well. This is a National Insurance contribution imposed on the profit that you make. Right, and obviously if you need to VAT registered, then obviously go to the appropriate website to look for more information. This one here, and register with the VAT office, and that's basically it. You just sign this box here and post it back to the Revenue and Customs. Now that you've notified the Revenue and Customs that you're self-employed, I think it's important that you have a look at this website, the hmrc.gov.uk website. Specifically, have a look at the self-assessment, and just look through some of these guidance notes. And I think it's important that you look through which one's appropriate to you. And I suppose this one here, self-employed or in partnership. And it also tells you about record keeping. Okay, record keeping obviously is very important, but you don't have to actually keep strict record keeping techniques. Okay, so in other words, the fundamental aspect of bookkeeping you don't have to know about, as long as you keep your records in a neat and correct manner. Okay, that means that you keep all your sales figures and all the receipts relating to it and all the billing. Then that, as far as I'm concerned, that is adequate for the tax office. You don't have to know anything about bookkeeping methods, as long as you keep all your records in a nice neat pile, and that is complete and true. Right, I've gone over to the National Insurance area of the Customs and Excise website, and obviously relates to the rates that you need to pay, and we're actually concerned with Class 2. And here we are. Let's have a look. Let's go back up here. 2009 to 2010, 2010 to 2011, 2011 to 2012, and the current rate for that is, let's have a look. There we are. Is £2.50. Okay. The previous year was that £2.40, and the previous years before that one was £2.40. So that's not changed. It's gone up by 10 pence. Now that the Class 3 rate, obviously that doesn't actually concern us. The Class 4, that is the amount that you pay on profit. Okay, so go on to this website and have a look at the National Insurance Contribution Rate. Now with Class 4 you can actually apply for an exemption, okay, if you're not earning enough profit, if you like, if you're not making sufficient profit or earnings, you can actually apply for an exemption from Class 4 as well as Class 2. So you need to look into that as well. Right, this is really a wonderful website actually for information about self-employment. And if you continue with looking through this website, obviously pay as you earn. Let's get rid of that box there. Pay as you earn. That means that if you're employing anybody, any employee, obviously the national minimum wage, and if you've got people that expecting maternity pay and statutory sick pay and students loan, all this is very important for you to look at. But I should not actually get too involved at this time. I mean, if you're self-employed, you work on your own, there's really no need to get yourself involved into obviously pay as you earn and minimum wage, and obviously statutory sick pay. That doesn't really apply to you. Okay, these are the further information about tax threshold and tax codes. Okay, the pay as you earn tax threshold, the basic rate at this present time is 20%. That is up to 35,000. So if it's £35,000 and below, it's 20%, and obviously thereafter it's 40%. So if it's just over £1, then it's actually at 40%, and then obviously it goes on to a different rate here. And the current emergency code is 747. Okay. Right. Okay. That concludes this aspect of the talk on the Revenue and Customs website. Now we're going to go on to the Government Gateway shortly. Right, I'm at the Government Gateway website now, which is www.gateway.gov.uk, and what this website's purpose is to register yourself for the self-assessment online. If you have submitted your notification form, which is your CWF1 form, the Revenue would have actually given you a unique tax reference number, okay, for the purpose of actually registering with the Gateway. And you can register, okay, as an individual, an organisation, or an agent. Obviously, we're dealing with individuals like yourselves, or people that are self-employed, and that is basically self-employment. And this one here is basically a partnership. And an agent, people that is acting on your behalf, like solicitors and accountants. So once you've got your UTR from your tax office, then come to this website and then enter the Gateway for registration. And obviously, if you're not registered, then you need to register. And if you have a login detail now, then you use your login detail here and your password here to get access into the Government Gateway facilities. Now, once you're registered, obviously you would have got your registration name and obviously your password, and that would come through the post within 10 days of registration. And it must be activated within the 10-day period, and then if you don't, then obviously you have to reapply again. Okay, so let's go back here and register as an individual, and it's quite simple enough to do. Just follow these instructions. Okay, I'm not going to go through the whole detail of registration here because this is obviously personal to you, and like I say, if you make a mistake, then obviously start all over again. You need to just register on this side, not with a digital certificate. The digital certificate you'll have to pay for. Okay, so continue with this one here. And like I say, it's simple enough to do. Okay, first name, surname, email, and obviously once you've registered, the Government Gateway will email to you for with a confirmation. And then you create a password here, and then you confirm the password, and then you submit. Okay, then obviously I can't continue with this because if I submit, it'll just produce an error. Okay, so you carry on with that and register with the gateway, and then as soon as you're registered with the gateway, within 10 days you get an activation code, and that activation code will entitle you to use the facilities on this website for submission of the online assessment at the end of your accounting year, or your fiscal year if you like, or the tax year. So that's all you need to do to set up your details with the revenue. Right, we're going to next look at the bookkeeping using the workbook that I've created to help you to gather all the information actually for the purpose of submission online. Okay, so that will be the next item that we'll be discussing.